American politics. The director of the FBI is sick at the thought that he may have influenced the US election. He was referring to his announcement 10 days before the poll that he was reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. You'll remember that, Christian. James Comey was testifying before the Senate.
The FBI chief also refused to rule out whether Mr. Trump or anyone from his campaign is a target in the Russia hacking investigation. He says he has no regrets about the way the whole email affair was handled, even though it clearly still weighs on him.
Look, this was terrible. It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election. But honestly, it wouldn't change the decision. But he has to come back to October 28th with me and stare at this and tell me what you would do. Would you speak or would you conceal? And I could be wrong, but we honestly made a decision between those two choices that even in hindsight, and this has been one of the world's most painful experiences, I would make the same decision.
What would you do? Mr. Comey asking the question. His testimony comes as both the FBI and Congress are, of course, investigating Russian interference in the election. So how will those comments affect the probes? Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger sits on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I spoke to him a short time ago. Congressman Kinzinger, what did you make of the FBI director saying that, frankly, it made him feel rather sick to think that the FBI might have influenced the election? Do you think it did?
Both sides can argue either way. You know, obviously the president says that it helped Hillary. Hillary says it helped the president. I think from his perspective, he says, look, you know, we're the FBI. We're independent, I guess, judicial branch, in essence, of trying to figure this stuff out. And so I think he obviously has some kind of a heartache about the idea that maybe he had an effect. I think, look, there's no doubt that Russia tried to influence the election. No doubt they're doing the same thing in France. No doubt they're going to do that everywhere around the world. We need to get to the bottom of what really happened, and we can do that through the committees and then move on and make sure that we're guarding against that in our future elections and making sure we're guarding against that with our allies and giving them the tools they need to fight back.
He was questioned repeatedly about why he released the information about the Clinton investigation but didn't release the information about the Russia investigation into people surrounding President Trump's campaign. Were you convinced by his answer?
I trust Director Comey implicitly. I think he is a very good person. I think he is somebody that really just wants to do right by the FBI, by the American people, and by law enforcement. So, you know, look, I'm not in the FBI. I don't even do investigations. So, you know, why one part would be released and another wouldn't, I'll leave up to him. But I do trust him as the judiciator of what to release and what not to release.
Congressman, are you satisfied with the pace of these investigations into Russia's role in the election?
I am. I mean, we all want the answers now. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We'd love to know tomorrow what exactly happened. These take a long time. And I mean, even if we today, you know, put an independent prosecutor, an independent investigation, we'd be talking 1.5 years to 2 years till we get to answers because it just takes a long time. So while I would love to have the answer to everything tomorrow, I think it's important that they do their work in a bipartisan way and we get the right answers so we can defend against the next election, so we know how Vladimir Putin does what he does, tries to outpunch his weight class because frankly he's a very small country in comparison to what the old Soviet Union was, and we give this information to our allies that they can help defend.
President Trump had a conversation with Vladimir Putin just yesterday, I think it was. Time passes fast. He's also said that he would consider meeting the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. You've said in public before that you yourself would not meet with leaders of countries that kill their own people.
Yeah.
What do you think of President Trump's comments? His repeated phone calls with President Putin and saying that he would meet Kim Jong-un.
So a phone call with Putin to me is fine. I don't know what was discussed. I haven't gotten the readout. Look, they are a player now in the Middle East, whether we like it or not. I think we allowed them to be by giving them a role in Syria. I think President Trump probably regrets maybe using the term "I'd be honored to meet Kim Jong-un," but I think the idea is, as they've said, now is not the time for one-on-one negotiations. We need to put more pressure on. We need to make it clear that we have a credible military option, which we do, and hope that that military instrument of power is enough to back the diplomatic instrument of power to get us to a solution. And if that ultimately means that the president decides it's in his best interest of him or the administration to meet with Kim Jong-un when the timing is right, we'll evaluate that when it happens. But it's definitely not the right time now. Every time this happens, it only emboldens a leader that murders and starves his own people.
Okay, Congressman, thank you.
Anytime.